Hello, my name is Kristen and I come to you from Baltimore County, Maryland. I am primarily a knitter, but I also do a little bit of crocheting and spinning, and this is tentatively my first podcast video. So today is President's Day and I have the day off of work, and instead of doing all the things that I need to be doing, like, cooking, cleaning, I desperately need to dust because of that right there. That's my golden retriever Nala, and she makes sure that our house is never clean. So instead of doing all the things that I need to be doing and being productive, what I thought I would do instead is record this and show you guys around my craft room. I work from home, so this is also my office. It's a dual space, and so I want to give you a little bit of a tour. I think that's a good way for you guys to get to know me, and kind of just show you what I'm all about. You'll see, I'm not a minimalist by any stretch, but I'm also maybe not a maximalist. After that, I will briefly show you my works in progress, and then if I record another one of these podcasts, then I will show you guys, tell you about those projects in more detail. I'm also wearing this crazy oversized hoodie, or crew neck, so I think I'll change and put on a piece of knitwear. And then, so why do I want to do this, right? I've been knitting for 10-ish years. I started knitting in college. I just turned 30. Going through a renaissance in my crafting, I think. I was primarily a sock knitter for a long time, and then last year I really wanted to get into making garments. But I find everything that I make, not everything, but a lot of the things that I make, I don't reach for, I don't want to wear because I don't find them particularly flattering on me, or I make them too small. They're just not well-fitting garments for me. So this year, I really want to get into making garments that fit me and fit my body right now. I gained a lot of weight. And I want to make sure that I am knitting for the body that I have and not the body that I want. Hopefully I'll get there. I'll get to a healthy weight for me, and I'll be, knitting for that in the future as well. So let's get into the tour, and then I'm going to take you through my crafts and my works in progress. All right.
Here we have all of my Cricut paper scraps, a scale, a couple projects that have been sitting for years, and here we have all of my finished socks I've knitted, and in here all of my small scraps, less than 40 grams. On the bottom shelf we have all of my dog's things, including her bandanas and her medicine. Coming over here to the middle part of my bookshelves, just some trinkets, and in this top drawer we have mostly bookbinding things, but also ribbon, swatches from socks, and calculators. In the second drawer, this is my Cricut drawer. It has all my Cricut like papers, vinyls, a completed sock, I guess, and Nala hair. In that box, that's where I keep my I don't know what it's called, but it's where you wax seal kit. And then in this bottom drawer, it's all of my scraps, more than 40 grams, and some of my hand spun. In this cabinet, I have mostly tools and my sewing kit. On the bottom there, that's a bunch of nuts and bolts. And then in this cabinet, I have my Foreo up at top. I like to do my skincare in the morning in my office, and then also all of my cake and baking thing. Here we just have some of my stuffed animals, including things I've crocheted. Up top we have all of my DK weight yarns. In the middle, my spinning and my knitting tool chest. This is fiber from Yarn Jam that I'm spinning up in the Marlene Knits colorway. It's so beautiful. And then over here, you'll just see I have a printer, a bag of rocks, and my weights, because I do like to work out in my office sometimes. This is my knitting tool chest. I keep all of my odds and ends that I don't want sitting around out. Some barber cord, um, tapestry needles, and whatnot. This is all of my fingering or lace weight yarns. I have quite a bit. And then finally, all of my knitting books, including my thread and maple binder, where I keep most of my needles. In this cabinet up top, we have all of the fiber and then a random um, scrap of yarn. On the second shelf, we have all of my project bags, and on the bottom is just odds and ends that didn't fit anywhere else. And this is my award, Helen Burns Smith Award, that I got from the Maryland State Fair. Now I'm going to show you around all of my art in my office.
So I changed into my traveler hoodie. This is by Andrea Mowry. It's probably my best fitting garment. There's a couple things I'd like to change about it. I would like it just like maybe two of these longer. And then I would also like the sleeves that same length longer. I know it comes to here, but I'm just like that kind of sleeve kind of person. And the neck is just a little tight, and that's because of how I picked up stitches. So I am going to knit another one of these, I think. But not 100%. I think you're crooked. So I'm going to quickly go through the projects that I'm working on currently. You'll see some of those project bags in there. I keep projects that I have the yarn for already picked out in there, as well as projects I'm actually working on. I don't like to work on like 10 projects at one time. You're really not going to see that from me unless something crazy changes. So maybe, but probably not. And I'm really quickly going to go through this. I'm not even going to talk about the details too much, because I think that's better suited for a different podcast episode where I'm actually going through the project, and we'll do it more traditionally with, like, you know, works in progress, finished objects, that kind of thing. But I just briefly want to tell you who I am, give you a little tour, and then we'll get into what I'm working on so that next episode maybe you guys can see what progress I've made. So the first things that I'm working on is this sock, and I believe it's called the Conjoined twin sock, something like that. I'll put it on the screen or I'll put it in the description, but Sock Madness has started, and this is the qualifying sock for that. So essentially you're gonna just knit a sock, and then instead of casting off at the top, you're just gonna keep going and knit this other sock, and they'll be attached. So that's the gist of this. The yarn is Boss Kitty Cat's Cradle in the colorway Balrog. Next up, you may have seen this bag in there. This is my most worked on project, I guess, the furthest along, and this is the Double Date Sweater by Winter's Weather Knits. Again, if I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen. This yarn, the black, is Miss Babs Yowza in the color Obsidian, and then the bright colors are all Boss Kitty, the BKDK in the color Sassy Pants, Bath Yellow, and Cold as Ice. So, just started the sleeve on this. Need to do the whole sleeve on this side, a whole sleeve on this, and then do the collar. I'm hoping to get this done by the end of February, but we'll see. This is the one that, like, sits in the back of my closet, and then I work on it like 1 or 2 rows at a time. It is double knit. It is my Harry Potter double knit blanket. I don't love double knitting, but I love the way it looks, so I want to do it. And I just work on this like a row or 2, and then I put it away for a couple months, and then I keep working on it. So probably by the time I'm dead, I will have this done, and that will be very exciting. Essentially, this is a pattern that I've adapted. I bought the pattern, and then I'm adapting it to do what I want it to do, and I'll link all that in the description. But essentially it's like the Hogwarts crest in the middle, and then the 4 houses on the outside. Mine's going to be a lot smaller, so it won't really be a blanket. It might be a crib size blanket, but it won't be much bigger than that. Alright, moving on to my last project, and I cast this on a whim. Normally I don't have 2 sweaters going at one time, but I got like irritated with the double date sweater because I just didn't want to pick up sleeve stitches for whatever reason. I found that process just absolutely laborious. So I cast on the stripe height, and I'm really excited with this. So main color is Miss Babs Yowza again. This is the colorway White Peppercorn. I have used this before. I love this color. This blue, this really beautiful blue right here is 29 Bridges Studio in the color Shimmer, and then below it right here is like a, ooh, come on, it's like a coppery color. I'm sorry if there's dog hair all over this, that's just the way it goes in here. And this is Setter, 29 Bridges Studio Setter. So 29 Bridges, this is the go-to sock. It is a fingering weight yarn. The Yowza is a DK, so I'm holding it double. And those are all my projects right now. So hopefully, if I do this again, there will be some progress made on that. At least on the Sock Madness socks, because those are the ones that actually have to be done. So what do I want this podcast to accomplish? I don't necessarily think that I'm bringing anything new, fresh, and exciting to the knitting community. And I'm not super energetic, high energy. There's so many great podcasters that do such a great job with keeping up the energy, and they're so optimistic, so positive. And I don't necessarily know if I fit. I don't I can tell you right now, I don't fit into that category. And then there's podcasters that do such a great job of it, explaining techniques and showing you how that they're modifying things to fit them. And I don't know if I fit into that either because I haven't quite figured that out. I would consider myself an advanced intermediate or advanced knitter. I can do a lot of things and I understand technique well, but am I the best person at explaining that? I don't know. And then there's the major designers that show you what they're designing, and I don't fit into that either. I'm just a teensy tiny designer. And maybe next podcast I'll show you guys what I've designed and we'll go through that and maybe my goals as well. So where do I fit into all of this? I don't know. And I think that's okay to not know. I want to do this for me, and it's something that I've wanted to do for years, for like 3 years now, and I've filmed quite a few of these podcasts and I've just never put it out. But 2025 is the year that I'm gonna do the things that I want to do, and I want to do this because I want a digital record, something that I can look back on and I can see my growth and see how my knitting's evolving. And oh, we have lost the light. I'm gonna hopefully figure this out. I'm hopefully going to stop filming on my phone as well and get a better camera, but all future things. So I want this to be a digital record of how I feel about projects and what I thought during the projects and how the knitting experience was. I think that's valuable for me, and I also think that knitting is such it's a solo hobby, and if you don't have a knitting group or a knitting community, it can be extremely isolating. It can be extremely lonely. If you're like me, I work from home, I don't have coworkers, I have a dog, and then, you know, I knit after work or I spin after work. So it can be lonely, and without a knitting community, which fortunately I found one online, it can be, it's just, you know, and maybe discouraging if you don't know how to do something and you don't know who to ask because no one in your life knits. Like my family, nobody knits, nobody sews, nobody cooks, nobody spins, nobody does anything, nobody crafts. So if I could be that for someone, if I could help someone feel less alone, I would love to do that. So I guess that's what I'm here to say, is I'm gonna carve out my little tiny space on the internet, and I'm gonna post the content that I want to post. I want to show you guys what I'm working on and what I'm feeling, and not mince words. There's patterns that are poorly designed, and I want to tell you about that. I want to tell you what I would do differently. And there's patterns that are so well designed, and I want to give props to that too. And I'm not trying to say like anything negative about designers. I don't want to be a negative person, but I also don't want to praise something that doesn't deserve the praise. So that's what I'm here to say, is I want this to be for me, and if it helps someone else, then that is incredible. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And my dryer is going off, so I need to go do my chores. Actually use my day off for something productive. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please introduce yourself if you would like to. Please tell me what you are working on. And if you have comments, put them down below. So thank you. Bye.